Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be going through CHIJ 2024 WA2 question 9. So this is the food web being given. There's so many letters from P all the way to V. Which of the following correctly represent P all the way to V in the food web? Then they give you plant eater, animal eater, and plant and animal eater. Okay, so you are supposed to go and correctly identify. So the most easier is to look at the producer or the plant. Plant is the producer. Okay, producer. Okay, so all the arrows will be pointing out. All arrows pointing out in the food web. So you take a look. Q is the one with the arrows pointing out. R is also the one with the arrows pointing out. The rest of them, there is some arrows pointing in, some arrows pointing out. So the rest of them cannot be a producer. So Q and R must be the producer. Then next up, plant eater. Plant eater, that means strictly it will feed on plant and be fed on, be eaten by other animal, right? So you have to look for the producer, arrows pointing in. This is a clue. So you look from the idea of R and Q pointing to where? R is pointing to U, okay, but U has also another arrows pointing towards U, okay, which is V. So probably U is not a plant eater, okay, because we can tell that U also feed on V, and V in this case should be a plant eater. So that means U, right, could be a plant animal eater in this case. So let's take a look at Q to V. Q to V, this is definitely a plant eater because the producer arrow going in, then there's two arrows going out. It means that it must be strictly being fed on. Okay. Okay, so in this case, strictly being fed on. And another plant eater will be your P. Okay, P is your plant eater because the producer arrow is going in. Two producer arrow is going in fact, Q and R. So it means that the P must be your plant eater. It feed on the producer, P and V. So straight away the answer is 3. But let us evaluate plant eater and plant and animal eater. So plant eater, I'll use this part. Plant eater, animal eater. Animal eater, that means it will feed on the plant eater. Okay, animal eater will be this. Okay, because there's only one arrow going into T, and this arrow is come from the plant eater. So T must be the only animal eater in this food web. Then the other two will be your plant animal eater. How come the other two is your plant animal eater? Okay, because S, right, it feed on the producer, it also feed on the plant eater. U, right, it feed on the producer, it also feed on the plant eater. That's why your plant animal eater is your S and U. Okay, in this case. So in this case, the answer is number 3. So another way of being describing how to derive each step, right, can be read from here. So you can take your time to read this part. Okay, Q and R is this part. P and V, okay, is this part. Okay, then you have T is this part. Last part will be your S and U, okay, which is this part over here. Okay, so I color coded it so it's much more easier for you to read this part. So let me do a screenshot. Okay, you can take a look at this part. Okay, thank you.